for two. Kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two. Sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this. Multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 322 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert, and you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we are live every Wednesday night on the Going for Two Live podcast network on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, syndicated in all major podcast networks. If you're currently watching us on Twitter, we cannot see your comments in the chat, so go find us on YouTube. It is youtube.com/@GoingForTwoLive. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Excited to have Seth back this week and just kind of talk some more rookies and stuff.
Absolutely. As you alluded to, his second time on the show this year. He's the first one to do the nonsense draft twice. Of course, he's the data guy over at fffaceoff.com. Seth, you can follow Seth at FF the At Home Dad on Twitter. What's up, Seth?
What's up, guys? Well, thank you for having me on again. So excited for it. And making history. How about that? First one to do the nonsense draft twice. I love it. Ready for it.
So real quick, for those that didn't catch you on the last show, give us a rundown of what you do over at Face Off, and you have something else new coming out too, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do all sorts of data stuff over there. We've been really working on building out everything that we have going on. One of the coolest tools I think we have right now is a live ADP dashboard. All of these drafts are real drafts that people are doing. It's run by Ryan over at FF Faceoff. Great dude. Handles all those. Happens almost daily. And what's great about the dashboard is you can go in and you can adjust the time frame, and you can say a week before the draft, what was this dude's ADP? Where was he going? 2 weeks before the draft, what was it? Now we're past the draft. You can shift that time frame over and see exactly how that has been changing for that person. And so that's one of my favorite little pet projects over there. And then hopefully we're aiming to try and get it out by the end of the month. If not, it'll be early next month. Starting a brand new podcast over at FF Face Off on the Face Off Sports Network. It's going to be titled The Dynasty Mindset. Mindset is everything. So working on that tagline, but it's going to...
I'm all for that tagline, especially if you say it in that voice.
In that voice. I was like going to go into like the AI. There's an AI voice changer thing, and I'm like, all right, how do you get like sexy everything voice for the end? But I mean, like Jamie said, you guys have the hype song that like at the start of the show. I had to reach out to whoever you guys had, because the song's fire every time.
Yeah, that is Gabe on Twitter, FF Man Bun. He does a couple of podcast intros, and he blessed us with that track, and it's been one of my favorite. We've had a couple over the years, but definitely my favorite by far.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Today's show is always brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their best ball leagues with huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems. They have their big league that just dropped. I think it's like $3 million to first place. If you're not in there, go get in there. Use our promo code GF2 to get a deposit match up to $100. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2, and start drafting right away. And like I said, they had their big tournament just come out. It's a $3 million to first place. I think $15 million total given out in their huge tournament. So go check it out over at underdog.com or on the app.
Use the promo code, send me an invite. I have impulse control and can't say no. So come draft with me.
Good stuff. All right, so we got a great show today. We're going to be looking at some startup rookie ADP. I know we've done the regular rookie ADP and the rookie drafts and where they're kind of following. Kind of got a good idea of where they're going, but I want to see where they kind of compare to some of the other players out there, and who we drafting them over. And so we got an actual draft that's literally live going on right now that we're going to look at. I think they're in round 13 or 14, but we'll try to get through at least the first 10 rounds. So we'll do that. And then after the break, we'll have a little bit of a deep dive into some rookies that maybe you hadn't heard of yet. Some guys that maybe go undrafted, or you can get, late in the third, late in the fourth round. We'll have a few guys to talk about. But of course, as always, started off with the nonsense draft.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, so today we are drafting movies you'd want to watch again for the first time, meaning basically you enjoyed it so much, maybe had a twist at the end that, after you've watched it once, you can never experience it that way again. So we're going to kick it off here with the 101. Seth, you got the 101 here.
This movie is by far one of the best movies I think of. I'd say pretty much of like all time, in the sense of just it. You get hit with just awe throughout the entire movie, and in the fact that you can't watch it again in the same way just takes a little bit of that away. And it's the original Jurassic Park from 1993.
I was thinking about that one.
Great choice.
It's so good. And I remember I was 10 years old. I have 3 younger siblings. 2 of them were old enough to like watch the movie. The part where the Velociraptor is chasing the kids in the kitchen freaked them out to no end.
Yes.
But they still like loved dinosaurs, so they still like wanted to watch the movie, but would have to like fast forward through that kitchen scene. That movie was just wild. Like all the parts where you see the actors just in awe of the dinosaurs, you couldn't help but to feel the same way watching it for the very first time. Like, holy, that's a brontosaurus. Like it was amazing. And to me, hands down, if I could go back and watch that movie again without knowing anything, without knowing what CGI is today, without knowing what all, I don't want to say the storyline's being ruined by multiple sequels. But if I could go back and watch it again, it would be just jaw-dropping amazement all over again.
Would you want to be a kid watching it again, or would you want to see it as an adult for the first time?
I
know that's a hard fault.
You know what? I'd still say like anything from 10 up, and I'd enjoy it. Like if at least as I'm old enough to not be, I don't want to be like my younger siblings who are like, 5 and whatnot, that were like freaked out by the Velociraptor. I don't want to be in that mode where I'm like, shit, this is scary, but I want to be in like wow, this is just crazy. And I think you could do that anywhere from like 10 up.
Yeah, that's a great choice for 101. I had it on my list as well. So I'm up at the 102, and this movie, kind of going back and looking at it now, it's still a good movie. But when it came out, it seemed like it was much bigger than it actually was, looking at it today. And it's the first movie that I've ever been to sitting in the theater that at the end of it, people stood up and actually applauded this movie. That's how good it was. It was really big at the time. Like I said, going back and watching it now, I'm kind of like, was it really that good to get an applause? But it is the movie Independence Day with Will Smith. I still watch that movie. It's a great movie. There's that speech by, and I can't think of who plays the president in that movie, but he has that speech at the end there that gives you the goosebumps, talking about Independence Day and all that. So it's a great movie. It's got a little bit of humor, a little bit of action, of course, and Will Smith at his prime there was a great thing. So yeah, Independence was my choice here at the 102. And it looks like we just lost Ryan. His choice is up on. He got the 103, so we'll kind of.
His 103 is Ghost, and he's trying to display it in in action right now.
Gone.
Choice, Ryan. I like Ghost too.
Yeah. Robbie in the chat, he's got Interstellar. I don't know if I've watched Interstellar. Have you seen that movie?
If I'm thinking of the right one, it's the one where he goes like back in time, and he's like, there's like the bookshelf scene where he's like trying to reconnect with his daughter. If I'm thinking of the right one, that was actually pretty good. I don't know if it like that's like the twist ending one because you
Gotcha.
realize like how it's like all connected in the end. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, got it.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
It's pretty good. And I just ruined the whole movie for you. But go back and watch it because I didn't do a very good job explaining it.
Jamie, I know you're in the chat. Jamie, you have a choice here for a movie you'd want to go back and watch for the first time. I'm assuming you're still in the chat here. Trying to stall until Ryan gets back.
I mean, or we do it like the NFL draft and we just move on, and whenever he gets back in, he can make his pick again.
Yep, that may be what we have to do because he's taking a little bit longer than I thought.
Oh, that's all right. So I can't steal this one, but Fight Club is definitely a good one. Yes, 100%. That is a really good one.
And Ryan is back. We stalled long enough, Ryan.
I accidentally hit I had something pop up on my screen. I accidentally hit the X and closed my browser because I'm an idiot. Yeah, we were on Bill. Last thing I heard was I said Bill Pullum for the president for the movie.
Yes, yep, that was exactly good one.
So my up. Can I be super cheap and take a series of movies?
Go ahead.
As a whole,
take it.
I want to rewatch Star Wars. Like I want to see what it's like to find Darth Vader is for the first time, like as an adult, because that's one of the biggest plot twists you've ever seen in a movie, especially when it happened. I don't know the order I'd want to watch it in, but I'd love to rewatch them all. For the first time.
I actually went back and rewatched them 1 through, and I forgot at what point I finished off at, and like it definitely sucks knowing what some of the things are going to be.
Yeah, I think I'd start with 4 still.
You know what? I honestly, I think I would start at 1, and because then you don't know. Like if you start at 4 and you do 4, 5, 6, then you go back to 1, you know Anakin's going to be done.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you know that's what's going to happen. And so like if you could do it all over without knowing anything, I'd rather do it one on and suffer through. I would need like somebody I need like a coach in my corner being like, it's all right, it gets a lot better after 3. Go ahead, just keep working. Like but I think I'd want to watch it that way.
Yeah, I went back and me and my daughter are watching, and we watched all the movies, and we've watched a bunch of the series now. We watched all the Mandalorian seasons, and I've kind of lived it through her and all her questions that she has. Like, so it's been cool in that sense, kind of watching again for the first time through her eyes. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Ryan?
I said I'm watching the animated shows that like tie in, and it's a lot, but it's kind of really awesome.
Yeah, we're on season 2 of the Clone Wars right now.
I'm on season 4.
Nice.
As a grown adult with no kids to watch it with, I just enjoy nerd stuff.
Yeah.
I like to enjoy stuff. I don't care.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm watching Avatar with the kids, completely not related, but just trying to get into that. And like everyone's like said, that's like a good series, but like watching it with the kids is just makes it that little bit more enjoyable.
Agreed. All right, Seth, you're at the 104.
I'm gonna pull one out completely out of order here, but a movie that like it is not one of my typical movies, but it's like one of the top 5 for me. Requiem for a Dream. And that movie just gets more and more effed up as you watch it. And it's like, it's a movie about overdosing on drugs. Like it's gonna go bad, but then each time you're like, wow, it just got worse. There's no way. Wow, it just got worse again. All right, there's no way. Oh my God, I can't believe it just got worse again. Like watching it all over again and just not knowing just how much of it's not even a cliff. It's like a jagged cliff because they keep like slamming into a new spot and falling off again. Like that movie to me is just one of those movies where everything about it just is so streamlined, and like I said, you're just constantly like you have such empathy for those characters, and then you just keep going, man, they can't keep making the wrong choice, can they? And it's like, yeah, there's no protagonist in this entire movie. They're just all not like the hero of the story. And I think it would just be a fun one to watch, just not knowing how bad it's going to get.
Nice. That's a great one. All right, so my 105, I was thinking about doing Fight Club, but since Jamie took that one in the chat, I got a couple other ones written down here that I like. And this one, I actually didn't watch this movie until it came out way back on VHS. It wasn't even like a DVD back then. It was on VHS, but I watched it with no expectations whatsoever. It wasn't like a blockbuster or anything, but the twist was ridiculous. And it's The Game. Have y'all ever watched The Game? It's it's a movie, and I can't remember who stars in it now, but he basically goes to this company and signs up for The Game, where they basically like put you through the ringer and do all these like people trying to kill you and people trying to steal your money. But the whole movie, you don't know if it's real or if he's in the game. The whole entire movie, you have no idea. He thinks people are really shooting at him and trying to kill him, but it's a great movie and a great twist at the end. And the whole movie, you're trying to guess if this is a real game or not, because he gets his brother-in-law involved, and then he's it's very hard to explain. But if you've never watched it before, it's definitely worth going back and watching it again.
It's Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. Sign me up.
Yeah, it's a great one. Like I said, it wasn't a blockbuster. It didn't make a lot of noise, but I watched it on VHS just as a as a thing to do, and it was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan, you're at the 106.
Jamie, yes, Michael Douglas. I looked it up. Dude, I just keep it with everything. I've got Infinity War. That was like the biggest blockbuster.
Yeah.
With the most shocking ending. And it was great on rewatches, but man, that ending, everything about that movie was just a spectacle. Like Thor showing up, coming down with the lightning. That was like all-time great action, like entrance.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work for charter schools in New York City, and so that movie came out, I think it was towards the end of the school year, and we actually took a bunch of kids to the movie theaters, and
cried.
I had a high schooler bawling full on, like, and she was like, I know, I already watched it, but I just can't, it's too much. She watched it already. She's like, this is my third time. It's just what Spider-Man turned into dust. Like could not stop.
Like every movie they made since then, just like it just set the bar too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. Like opening night, seeing that opening night with all new crowd, it was amazing.
Yeah. That's a great choice. That's a fairly new one. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see who's up next. It's you, Seth. You got the 107 here.
Can I throw an honorable mention in at the end, because I have one that
yeah.
I'm throwing an honorable mention in there too. But I wasn't going to choose this one. But I decided I'm going to. I'm going to go with Snatch.
Oh, I love that movie.
Love that movie.
Love Snatch.
Like that.
Yeah, the way that they just like tie everything in together, and then at the very end, like the little stop in the action,
yeah,
and the little dialogue where he's like, and we all made a stupid face. Like the Pikey didn't, and it's like that, the way they just do all the cinema for it, the little cuts, like everything about it is just hands down phenomenal. Even Brad Pitt being a gypsy, like bare knuckle boxer, like
stole the show.
It's too funny. Like mom's terribly partial to periwinkle blue. Like it's so good. My impression is god awful, but he's phenomenal in it. Jason Statham's awesome, and Bricktop. That dude is so good. His speech about
Vinnie Jones
farmers is like, if that doesn't get you like, oh snap, like this is a bad man, like nothing will.
Yeah,
but Snatch. I had to throw that one in there, especially for the twist ending and the way they tied everything in together. Being on the edge of my seat all over again for Snatch would be phenomenal.
Something fun to do on that movie. I don't know if you've ever done it or not, but go put the subtitles on and what Brad Pitt is talking gibberish, some of the stuff that you don't even know what he says. It actually has like subtitles for it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So really great story about that. Super fast. If you do that with Big Daddy, which another great movie, probably not a list worthy. There's a part where the kangaroo song comes on, and he actually turns and goes douchebag kangaroo, and you can only pick it up by the subtitles. And because he just turns and goes douchebag kangaroo, and like it's great because it's like the subtitle, and you're like, oh my god. And now I can't
unhear it.
Can't unhear him when I watch it now. It's great. Love watching stuff with subtitles the second, third time around.
Good stuff. All right, I'm up here. My last pick, the 108. And I'm going to go with a movie directed by Christopher Nolan. Had Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale in it. The Prestige. I don't know if you've ever seen that one with the two battling magicians. One of them ends up being like a twin brothers, and they're doing the disappearing act where one of them appears somewhere else, and ends up being sort of like a Hugh Jackman tries to copy what they're doing. But yeah, great movie. I've only watched it once, and I want to go back and watch it again because knowing what I know now, I want to go back and see how it acts. There's part where one of them gets injured, and then the other one has to injure himself as well in the same way so that they don't get found out. But it's a great movie.
Little known fact about Jeff, that's how he met his wife, by using magic tricks. He impressed her with magic.
No, I hypnotized her. It's been all this time. All right, Ryan, 109.
I'm really struggling because I'm thinking about comedies that were just absolutely hilarious the first time, and just rewatching them again just so I could get that just pure enjoyment out of it. And I think I'm leaning Superbad. Mm-hmm. Because every time I watch it, I still crack up at everything, knowing every word of the movie. But the first time seeing that again would just be great.
Yeah, that was a good movie. That's for sure. So isn't that at the very end where he's drawing all the penises?
Yeah, that's how it ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
That, everything from that range from their 40-Year-Old Virgin, Anchorman, anything from any of those comedies, I wish I could just rewatch for the first time.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
So very similar vein. That was going to be my honorable mention. Wedding Crashers.
It's
like that movie. I know basically word for word at this point. My wife knows it word for word, mostly because she's the one that told me we were out in college and she over summer break she saw it and she's like, you got to watch this movie. It's so funny. And
so funny.
One of the numerous times my wife was right. Absolutely was funny. And it's one of those movies you could, if you went back and watched it now, just how hilarious can this moment get? There's no way this can get even funnier. And they find a way to just crank it up just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Vince Vaughn is just outstanding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. All right, so we're going to start looking at some startup rookie ADP, and we're going to use an actual real draft here. I'm bringing the draft board up, and Jamie's in the chat. I actually think this is his league. Yeah, there he is there at the 111. And we're just going to go through round by round and look where these rookies got taken and who they got taken after, who they got taken before, and kind of decide if we think that they went in the right place or just overall how we feel about these rookies in the spots that are being drafted. And looking at the first round here off the bat, here's Seth. Obviously, there's one rookie that goes in the first round, and of course, that is Bijan. He goes here at the 109. There was, 7 quarterbacks taken ahead of him and the 2 receivers, Jefferson and Chase. How comfortable are you taking Bijan here in the first round at the 109?
6 QBs before him. 6
QBs, you're right. Sorry, 6 QBs and 2 receivers.
It's a gamble, but I think it's a gamble worth taking. He is the 101 in just about everything right now. And I think with good reason to be. If somebody wants to make an argument about not taking a rookie 101 in redraft, sure, fine, totally get it. Obviously a super flex draft, he's not going to be the 101. You're going to take the quarterbacks there. But in terms of him being the first running back off the board, I'm very okay with it. If somebody wanted to say, they wanted CMC, I'm okay with it. Brees Hall, a little less because of the injury, but he should be able to come back some point this year and, take over where he was leaving off. But it's really like that kind of group there. It's kind of interesting that they have Austin Eckler being, because they're going the other way, at the 2-8, like that kind of group right there. You got a good solid core, and I would take Bijan in that group and feel perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I was just going to shout the quarterbacks out that went ahead of him: Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. And then after him went Justin Fields, L. Jax, Deshaun Watson. Ryan, is there any order that you think that is there anybody you would take over him? Or
I would have took the next two quarterbacks ahead of him just because it's super flex.
Fields,
I'd Fields, Jackson. If I was in Jamie's spot and those two went before me, I'd probably took Bijan over Watson. But I just took him at the turn at a startup as the first running back a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
But so I fully support him as first running back off the board.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get down into round 2, and it's not towards the end of round 2 that we get the 2 more quarterbacks, the rookie quarterbacks going here, and surprising a little bit on the order. But Richardson goes 101, or the 101 quarterback rookies for 209, and then right behind him goes C.J. Stroud at the 210. So they kind of passed up on Bryce Young. He goes at the very end here at the 212. And I'll go to you first, Ryan, on this one. What are your thoughts here with these quarterbacks going in this spot over guys like Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa is there, Dak Prescott? How do you feel about these rookies going in the second round here?
So I don't hate them above the vets. You have some major warts on the vets there. Like Kyler, we don't know how long for the world he is right now, coming off injuries and attitude things. He may be in Arizona, he may not be. To his brain, who knows how many more hits he can take. Ahead of those guys, I'm okay with that. I agree with Richardson. I'm cool with Richardson being the first. That rushing upside in Indy,
Agreed.
When a run heavy offense, it should be good for fantasy whether he can pass or not. You just might have to be patient. But you have Burrow, why not swing for the fences? I'd flip flop Young and Stroud just because rushing, but I'm not mad at you either way. Like, any order you take those 3 QBs is fine.
Yeah, I think I'm with you as well. I think I do have AR as the clear 101 as far as quarterbacks go. And then I have Bryce Young, like you said, and then Stroud, but they're close enough that I can, if you want to go get your guy.
Personally, I've taken Young first in my 2 chances I've had out of those guys. But like I said, any order, whatever makes you happy out of them. I feel like it's really just pulling straws.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with who you might already have. Like you mentioned, this guy who took AR, he got Burrow. So he has that little bit of a safety blanket to, has a one good quarterback. He can take that chance on another guy with the upside that he has. What are your thoughts, Seth, on these quarterbacks going here at the end of the second?
I mean, I think the only thing I would kind of argue with a little bit is, like, I think Anthony Richardson makes sense here. Because of the pure rushing upside that he expected to have, right? I would probably, and not just, for any possible reason, put Dak Prescott up with, before Bryce Young or Stroud. Tua, like you said, that's a little bit iffy, but I would probably put him, just Dak, up ahead of those guys. And maybe Kyler Murray again, depending on the injury and how people are feeling about it. But Anthony Richardson, definitely the top guy. He's either gonna win for you, or it's gonna be a complete bust. And that's that's what you got to be ready for. And like you said, I made
a mistake. They don't have Joe Burrow. They have Justin Fields.
That 1-4 was traded, yeah.
Yeah, so he has Justin Fields and Breece Hall already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take that swing. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good call.
But looking at team construction, unless I missed another quarterback here, he has Anthony Richardson, Trey Lance, Desmond Ridder,
Justin Fields.
He does has Justin Fields. Okay.
Yeah, so, I'm cool with that.
Fields, Richardson. That's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. All right, never mind. Good job then. 'Cause I was like, if you're just rolling out Anthony Richardson and Trey Lance,
You're in trouble.
Ritter, there's gonna be some down weeks there.
Yeah, for your QB too with them, Ritter's for
Mhm.
sure starting and can
Mhm.
fill in a few games, and he's gonna have rushing upside. And Richardson has obviously that huge upside. Just might have to wait a little bit.
Yeah. So don't say this too loudly, but I'm in a dynasty startup right now also, and we're in round 10, and I really need Ritter and Howell to come back to me in the 11th round, because my quarterbacks are a little sketchy right now. Like they're not looking great. But rest of the team's beautiful, but the other quarterbacks, not the best.
All right, and thankfully Jamie pointed out that this is a third round reversal, so it
Mhm.
actually went Bryce Young to Jalen Waddle, then Dak Prescott. So Tua and Kyler went at the end of that round. So that's a little bit of a different look than I had. So
I hate third round reversals
yeah,
so much.
so yeah, we're in the third round, and it did reverse. So let's get to the next two guys there. We got Gibbs and JSN going back to back here. Gibbs goes at the what did he go? The 304. What is he? The
303.
3, and then JSN's the 304. Seth, what are your thoughts here on these two guys going this high? So JSN goes over like T. Higgins, over DK Metcalf, and then Gibbs is over Barkley, Jacobs, and ETN.
I don't mind Gibbs at 3-3. JSN at 3-4 makes me a little bit more nervous because I think you're going to have a longer runway with JSN. And so I'd rather, just the way that I construct teams usually, I'd rather put more chips in the very beginning. And I think you could get JSN like in the, it's not a tight end premium, the other league, no 3-round reversal in the other league, but JSN fell to the 4th round. I'm much more comfortable taking him there. After guys like Diggs and, around guys like London and some of the other like rookie and second year wide receivers. I like that a lot more than taking him at the 3-4. That being said, I really like JSN. So, if you're like diehard JSN, gotta have him 3-4. I don't love it, but I can understand the pick, especially because Higgins is always going to be behind Chase. DK is in the same offense with JSN. You have Hill, London, Diggs. They all have their own kind of unique nuances to them. Where JSN, you're expecting just all upward value.
Yep.
But I feel like taking him at 3-4, you're kind of taking him more on the upswing of the value than I would like.
What are your thoughts, Ryan, here with Gibbs and JSN?
I dislike the JSN there. I think he's taken way too high. Like, there's a lot of good receivers who have similar upsides but are safer after him. Like Higgins there. Higgins is about to be a wide receiver 1 on another team. Metcalf is the wide receiver 1 on JSN's team. Metcalf isn't going away. He's an absolute freak.
Mm-hmm.
Drake London ended the season with double-digit targets in 4 of the last 5 games. Diggs is a stud. Like, it's about a round early. It's just kind of a reach. And I despise Gibbs there. And I love Gibbs. But as the 6th running back off the board, and they had the 6th running back off the board is crazy. Barkley is gonna get 300 touches.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs, same thing. Etienne's still young. Yes, he's in a split backfield, but guess what? So is Gibbs. Najee Harris, who's not sexy at all, is gonna get 300 touches, and not in a split backfield where they're gonna have a guy who they're gonna take away red zone carries for. It's just. Oh my God, Ken Walker went round 5 too. We got that scared over Zach Charbonnet. Dude, that's insane. Like, he's 2 rounds too early.
Yeah, that was one that stood out to me was Gibbs going, because I know when I first looked at it, I was like, okay, after ETN, Jacobs, Barkley. But now that I know it's third round reversal, he went before all those guys. And that's kind of crazy to me.
His real ADP is RB9 right now.
Yeah, that's a little.
And I feel like that's even too high. Like, I have him 14, and I love the player, but there's some questions. This isn't a slam dunk.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I just feel like it's easier. It's easier to what's the right word? I feel like it's easier to swing for the fences with some of these running backs, especially with Robinson and Gibbs, because the mindset is these are the top 2 running backs, and everybody else is in tier 2. You got like 15 dudes in tier 2, or maybe like 10 dudes in tier 2, and then like another 10 in like tier 3. And so I get like the mindset of like trying to go after that second best guy in this draft. And that's where I kind of like don't mind it, but I also
this
I don't
is
know
a startup. This isn't this draft.
Yeah. I don't know why I did this, but like in my mind I was like JSN 3-4 3-round reversal, Gibbs not 3-round reversal. He's after Etienne Jacobs and Barkley. And I was like, that totally makes sense. But he's not in this one. He's before. So I take it back a little bit. I could definitely see him being moved down at least 3 or 4 picks, but like 3 or 4 running backs. But I don't mind it quite as much, because I could see him having a Najee Harris like rookie year.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't think he can handle that workload at 198 pounds.
The size, he's a small.
Yeah, Najee Harris is an absolute horse of a human. That's why he can take that workload.
True.
All right, so talking through all these rookies, we've mentioned that at this point there is a teardrop, and also in this league there's a teardrop as well, because not a single rookie was taken in the 4th round. We have to wait all the way to the 5th round, when surprisingly to me at least, Quentin Johnson was the next receiver off the board at 5-1, and he was the only one taken in the 5th round. We'll go to you first, Seth. What are your thoughts on QJ here in the 5th round and being basically he's the second receiver off the board behind JSN, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this is to me the most egregious piece possible here is the fact that Quentin Johnson was taken before Cooper Kupp. And I get like age concerns, some injury concerns there, but like Cooper Kupp, if he comes back, and like Kenny G, it looks like has Chase, Diggs, Kupp, Burks, like that receiving core is phenomenal. Kupp, when healthy, is a 20-point a game wide receiver. I think at one point he was like hitting like 25 plus points a game. Like that's wild production. I think to me that's like possibly the most egregious piece. But I would definitely much rather have Quentin Johnson back in the 6th round here, especially with guys like Burks, Jamison Williams, Judy, Addison, and honestly, I like Jahan Dotson. I like Godwin up in front of those guys. I just feel like you're hoping for him to be different, and he's different in the rookie draft because he is the only high drafted, just prototypical X wide receiver.
Right.
Not different in this situation, and I think that's where you're overdrafting him at the 5-1, maybe putting a little like 20 Miller time. He's putting a whole lot of eggs in the young wide receiver basket. Not a bad theory, not a bad strategy. It just feels real early for Quentin Johnson there, where you could have, if you want to keep going young wide receiver, I still like Pittman over that. Or, maybe you go get your second quarterback. Yeah, you're at the Cousins Wilson range, maybe not, but like there's some other options there that I may have played around with, rather than reaching for Quentin Johnson, being different in this draft class, but not being different compared to these other wide receivers.
Agreed. Ryan, what are your thoughts here with QJ being the receiver 2 off the board in the 5th?
I mean, I'm a firm believer Addison should be ahead of him, who went a full round later.
Yep.
Just spoiler alert. Like you're getting a guy who's is going to be wide open a ton and only get single coverage there. We don't really know what the Chargers offense is going to look like. And we've seen Herbert not really focus on anybody but Keenan Allen. And spoiler alert, he's not a slot receiver, not Keenan Allen's still alive. So I don't know. He's kind of a one-dimensional, inconsistent guy, and I think that inconsistency on a game-to-game basis we saw in college is going to carry over a little bit. While the upsides and boom buster there, like you said, there's a lot of guys, while they're not older, they're not sexy, they're going to consistently score fantasy points to go after them.
Yep, agreed 100%. I'm out on QJ at the price that he's going in rookie drafts.
I don't hate the price. Like his draft capital brought that back up, but like in this draft here, like if you want him as your wide receiver 3 in rookie drafts, I'm fine with that. But only a 3 or later.
Yeah. And I think what it is for me is just kind of trying to look at the board and how it's like playing out. It really looks like Miller Time is like he's going for not this year, he's going for next year. Like you just look at the draft that he has going on with, you know, Lamb, Waddle, Watson, QJ, Dotson, not too many spoilers, but A-Chain, Cook, Pacheco, like even those running backs are all, oh, look at you highlighting it. Yeah, you go, Jeff. Like it's a super young, super like high upside play where if he hits on these guys, he could be a force to be reckoned with over the next couple of years. But I agree, like it just feels like, you know, you could have drafted Cooper Kupp, let him pick up 25 points week 1, 2, and 3. If the rest of your team isn't living up to it, sell Cooper Kupp to another team that is for Quentin Johnson and another pick, you know, and make yourself even stronger for the next season. And I just, yeah.
Or take Ken Walker there, who went one spot later, and when you took A-Chain and you want a very similar receiver who's actually proven with that big body wide receiver, take George Pickens.
Yeah. Pickens,
who, but 2 rounds later, who I have above Quentin Johnson by a good bit.
And I don't know where your take is on Zay Flowers, but Zay Flowers also went in the 7th round also. So, and I would much rather have the wide receivers in this draft class than the running backs for, you know, after Bajan and Gibbs. I'm all about the receivers in this draft class more than the running.
Yep, and we can hear them still drafting. I hear the little chime.
This draft is still going on. I didn't realize it.
Yep, it is still going on. It's a live draft. So they are actually
amazing
and watching us break down their teams.
And Miller's up right now. Let's see if he's listening. Where are you going here, Miller?
Don't F this up, bud.
All right, so
youth again.
As Ryan alluded to, 1 round later, the only rookie taken in round 6 was Jordan Addison. Is this late enough, Ryan, where you think Addison's a value at this point, or do you think this is where he should be?
I like Addison here. Like 6th round seems right. I'm trying to see where I have Addison ranked. Yeah, I have Addison wide receiver 23. There's probably a few guys after him, but you know, I'm cool with that. Like they even talked about it today, like at the rookie camp. This dude's only going to see one-on-ones. He is not going to see double coverage in his life, and he's a phenomenal route runner who makes people look stupid. It's going to be ugly. He's going to get 100. He has the easiest path out of this receiving group class to 120 targets this year.
Yep.
Like easy.
And just looking at who goes behind him, 2 other question marks that they have. Terry McLaurin, of course, he's got Sam Howell as quarterback. Jerry Jeudy can't stay healthy.
Every receiver in this round, I take him over.
Yep. DJ Moore, of course, he's now with Chicago. What's that going to look like? Ridley coming back from his suspension. Jameson Williams has a suspension this year. Treylon Burks is taken there, but that's a team that's kind of in flux right now. So, yeah, I think Addison's in the perfect spot right here at the 6-1. What are your thoughts, Seth?
I was just looking up Kirk Cousins and realized like my spelling is atrocious at 10 o'clock at night because Cousins was real difficult. Just trying to get a sense of like how many. Yeah, so like last year, his attempts were 643, which is way beyond what his typical number of attempts are. He's more in the 500 range, like around 550. So you assume you're probably looking at like what 150 ish to Justin Jefferson,
Maybe
right?
more.
Yeah,
Maybe more, right? He's still going to check the ball down, right?
Yep. Hawkinson will get good bet.
And Addison should, you figure, slot into what, the 2 wide receiver there?
Yeah.
Thielen's
Right?
role.
Yeah. Yeah, Thielen's gone.
Mhm.
He played.
Thielen's with Carolina now, if
Yeah.
I'm remembering off the top of my head, right?
Yep.
So like you assume he slots into the 2 role. My one question is, does he have the frame to play the 2, or is he going to be like a slot guy that they keep running KJ Osborne out?
But the thing is, Thielen played the slot.
Yeah, Thielen was a slot.
Thielen was a slot.
He was a bigger slot because he did play on the outside as well in the 2 receivers.
I think Addison moves around a bit because so does Jefferson. They move Jefferson everywhere.
Yeah.
That team, they're very move their receivers around. But the thing is, no matter where it is, Justin Jefferson's going to get 2 guys on him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you look at Thielen's numbers over the last couple of years, even with his injuries and all that stuff, I think he averaged right around 100 targets a game or 100 targets a year. So if Addison gets that 100 targets that Thielen was getting, I kind of like that going forward.
Dude.
Yeah, I just saw
Thielen had 107 targets last year at age 32.
Yeah, and he missed some games last year, I believe, too.
No, he made them all last year. He had 95 the year before in 13 games, 108 the year before that.
Yeah.
And then like early 20s, he was getting 100. He was getting fed, man.
Yeah. Like I really like it. I wasn't trying to say that I don't like it. I was trying to get it like a more realistic, because I haven't done my projections yet and any of like the how it all gets broken down. Just trying to quickly, on my sleeper on my phone and on my computer at the same time, trying to make it make sense.
Like a 17, I'd say like a 17 to 18% market share for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's obviously getting like 22, 23 out of Jefferson.
Jefferson. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I like the pickup of Addison. And again, trying to get a sense of like how the draft is going for this person. He's all over the place because he's been making some trades, which good for him, or her. Good for them. But yeah, like they have a bunch of young wide receivers also, minus Hill, but Hill, Addison, Rice, Reed, Josh Downs. Like they went rookie heavy.
In Tyreek Hill. It's so fun. It's like it's literally all rookies in Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Williams.
Which you know what makes me a whole lot more nervous now that I see it like all together, makes me a whole lot more nervous. But I do like the Addison pick there. He should be able to slot in at least as a fantasy, like in your roster wide receiver 3. Expecting him to be a wide receiver 2, I think is a little bit risky. But I do like, again, this is one of those things where you're trying to make the play on the upside. And I think getting him here in the 6th round, especially, around guys like Judy, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Jameson Williams, Treylon Burks. Like I don't mind a little bit of a stretch there. So I like it.
Yeah. The thing is this team, it's not, I hate to say it, I doubt it's a win now team.
Mm-hmm.
And the value you can get week, 12 trading Tyreek Hill is better than what you drafted him for, because you're going to see a contender who wants a big time wide receiver. You can ask the farm for Hill.
Absolutely.
And gain way more value, make that team really good quick.
Yeah.
All right. We had another pick just now.
I love how we're like, yeah, we're diving into rookie ADP and we're just like dissecting the entire draft. I actually kind of love it, Jeff. I hope it's not taking too much off the rails for you, but
this is normal.
Yeah, it's normal. We're good. So these next ones I'm going to group in. There's 3 of them in the 7th round, and then one of them that went 801. So we'll group the 4 of them together here to save some time. But A-Chain goes at the 701. Zay Flowers goes to the 708. Zach Charbonnet 712, followed up by Dawson Kincaid at the 801. And this is tight end premium. So I'm gonna go to you first. Of those 4 guys there, just pick one of them that you want to talk about.
I'm gonna go with A-Chain. I think the pick is based more on hype / hope / feelings that he takes over for Miami than necessarily a firm, hard commitment in what he's going to put out for you in terms of fantasy. I feel like this becomes like one of the not nearly to the same degree. Dial it down a lot. This is a lot of the like CEH type of play where people went from like CEH being the 6th running back to like some people being crazy enough to putting CEH as the 101.
Yep.
I feel like you have A-Chain who was he was essentially like a decent back with some pop, but he's going to Miami and everyone's like, Miami's the best landing spot for running backs. Woo! But
is it
exactly like Jeff Wilson Jr., who's exactly like Raheem Mostert, who's exactly like A-Chain. Like they're all the same running back, which like, yeah, it works great in that scheme, but there's nothing to separate him from the other backs. And does he become the top guy on the hill here? Maybe.
That's a full-blown committee, right? Like,
yeah, like,
do you believe that? Because none of these guys are every down backs with their build.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to live in that like 120 to 160 attempt range,
Yep.
and all three of them are going to get time, and it's going to be terrible.
Remind me again, where did their head coach come from? San Francisco, where they had the ultimate committee, right?
Yeah. Why do people not remember this?
Yeah, I mean, he was the one that was coordinating them. He went 3-4 running backs deep, and we hated it. And now he's in Miami, and suddenly we forgot about that. So I think this is what this is. This is 3 guys that can do the same thing, keep them all fresh. They're all guys that tend to deal with injuries. Well, I don't know so much about A-Chain, but I know Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson definitely did. So yeah, I think this is a situation where you're going to hope that he's super efficient because he's going to have to be. He's going to get like 10, 12 touches a game.
What's John Lobb's 200-pound rule, Jeff?
Yeah, I think there's two running backs that are under 200 pounds that have been any fancy relevance since like 2000 or something is what John said. Yeah, and he's definitely under that. He's like 185, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think Tyreek Hill can probably body him, and Tyreek Hill's teamy.
No, Tyreek Hill is wiry though. Like if you watch,
he's built like a running back.
Definitely times where you're like, wow, that dude is strong as
he's
like
strong. Tyreek Hill's thick. He's just short. He's thick. Like with 3 C's.
One other thing, because you mentioned it, Jeff. Quick plug for something that's going to come out hopefully in the next 2 months on Face Off. We have a coaching database that we've been building out as well. So you can actually go in and see not just the coaching tree, but also like what did they produce fantasy wise, and be able to dive into all of that. So you can see like as an OC, they're now a head coach. What did they do as OCs? What were the things that they produced, and get a sense of that with all that movement as well. So just a quick little plug there as well. But yeah,
good stuff. I love it. We do have a question here, and I think this is probably from the guy that drafted QJ. I'm assuming. He's like, why the QJ hate? Addison has 0 chance of being the number 1, and QJ can be that next year. Ron, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So I like the idea of Quentin Johnston. I really like Quentin Johnston when I first watched him. I think there's a ton to like. He has upside. He's not a great separator. He body catches, which really takes away from it, which proved his inconsistency game-to-game basis. Like if you look in the college football playoffs, in the semifinals, he was an unstoppable force. And then in the championship, he disappeared. He had like 1 catch. And you saw these fluctuations year in, year out. And these jump ball big wide receivers, while the prototype's awesome, the ones who aren't great route runners and don't have great hands, who's really that? The league's kind of gone away from that. Like Mike Williams, his teammate's a great example. Jump ball wide receiver, inconsistent fantasy play because it's touchdown dependent. While he brings a little bit more of the deep variance, he's not a well-refined route runner. He doesn't have a ton of variation. It's some questions. It's a real boom bust pick there. That's my only dislike there. I like the player, and I think he's going to be good from a football standpoint. But fantasy wise, I don't see consistency in how he gets there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you take two guys, so Quentin Johnston's a big guy that plays small. You take Josh Downs, he's a small guy that plays big. Go watch some of their tape. When Quentin Johnston's going deep and he has to jump for a ball, he almost cradles it to his chest.
Dude, hit
up with his hands.
He body catches everything.
Yeah, and you watch Downs, who when I watched Downs, I didn't realize he was 5'9" because this guy was like contested catch king. I mean, he's up, super high, extending, reaching up. Whereas I think Quentin Johnston doesn't do that. He gets it to his body, and unfortunately, that leads to a lot of drops, and that's why I'm personally out on QJ. Is because of that.
Dude, first 4 games of the year, 22 yards, 29, 41, 206, 180, 74, 74, 0, 66, 48, 139, 163, then 3. Yeah. It's just a roller coaster of emotion with him.
Yeah, agreed. Mm-hmm. So to save some time here, Ryan, I'm going to go to the next 4 guys that were drafted here. We got Mayer, Roshan Johnson at 9.4, Will Levis at 9.06, and then Jonathan Mingo at the 9.10. Of those 4 guys, which one do you want to talk about?
We're round 9?
It's end of round 8 and then into round 9. 809, 904, 906, and 910.
Did you mention Kendry Miller?
He's in that group.
He's in that group. 9-2, yeah. I love that.
Skipped over him. I don't have him on my list, but yeah.
Did you? I want to give Jamie a shout out on that one. One, he passed up on his boy Roshan, which is shocking. But out of the rookie receivers taken in that round we were just talking about, I think Kendry Miller has some of the best chance out of them to really succeed. He fills in that we can see his role in that Kamara role, who's going to be suspended sometime and getting up there in age. I think he's going to find that niche in his first 5 to 6 weeks. And he's a good, versatile player who does everything well. That's how you stay on the field. Mm-hmm. And his path to starting and getting nice volume is there before a lot of guys in that area. So I love that pick.
Yeah, and Jamie, he's the conductor of the hype train of Roshan Johnson.
I'm proud of him. I'm so proud of him.
Passed up on him, and he went 2 picks later there. So that's a little surprising there, Jamie. Yeah, so that's I was going to talk about Roshan going at 9.4 and Jamie missing out on that, but I like that Kendry Miller call. I must have missed him on my going through this list here. I didn't even see him there. What are your thoughts on Will Levis at the 9.06, Seth? Do you think this is the right spot for him as a quarterback in the Superflex League?
I mean, no. I mean, I like just looking at the. All right, you're hoping that Will Levis is the answer, right? In Tennessee, like you're expecting him to be the starter. Tennessee, maybe I don't know. Like it's real tough for me to gauge what Tennessee is trying to do because I feel like they make a move where it's like, all right, they're all in, and then they make a move and it's like, oh, they're gonna tank. Oh, they're gonna make a move and they're gonna be all in. They're gonna tank. Like it's tough for me to figure out what Tennessee is actually trying to do. But like, given Kenny G's team even right there, like give me Aaron Rodgers. Your team is built to win right now. Give me Aaron Rodgers over Will Levis. Give me a year or 2 of Aaron Rodgers thinking that if he plays for the Jets, I'd much rather have the veteran there. Yeah. Give me Aaron Rodgers over Levis.
That's not a young team.
It's not a young team. It's a win now team. I mean, they got Burks. That's young. Frymouth is young. But other than that, like this is a win now team. Give me a win now player here. Don't give me Will Levis. I
much your QB2 on top of that. Yeah, I mean he got some guys late that probably will end up being the QB2, but yeah, he's basically drafted as his QB2.
Or like wait and instead of taking your second tight end in Darren Waller, be the one that takes Desmond Ridder there because Desmond Ridder is going to start the entire time. Like we can't say, and again, yes, we're assuming Desmond Ridder is also the starter good for the whole year, but he has a very clear path to being the number 1 guy. Like there's not much else there rivaling Desmond Ridder in Atlanta to be the number 1 guy. There's still question marks around Levis in Tennessee. Like I don't love it, especially considering, maybe I don't love Lance. I don't. Purdy is another toss up, but I'd rather take one of these.
I'd rather take Mac Jones
running backs
in
there.
round 11.
What's that?
I'd rather have Mac Jones round 11 than that.
Exactly. Mac Jones, Sam Howell, Desmond Ritter, like he did get Stafford in round 13. Like I like all of those guys more, and I'd rather.
And he has Tannehill for when Levis doesn't start. But
Yeah.
Tannehill's also
But
garbage.
but the issue with that though is now you're using 2 roster spots to get
One
quarterback.
bad quarterback
Yeah.
play. you have low end QB2, QB3 play and 2 roster spots. Like you can do that with only 1 roster spot. Come on.
All right, let's put a bow on this, guys. Of the rookies that were drafted after this, we've got Rashee Rice 912, Jalen Reed at the 1001, Stan Laporta at the 1002, Jalen Hyatt at the 1008, and Hendon Hooker at the 1009. We'll go to you first, Ryan. If any of those guys that you like or dislike in their certain spot.
Oh, you know who I like there. I love Jalen Hyatt there at the 1008. It might be a little high, but I don't care. I like him there if we're still on that rookie fever at this point in draft. He has an easy path to getting playing time and like significant playing time.
Yeah, with the Giants for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Seth? Anything stand out there to you?
I mean, his size definitely raises questions as well, being 180 pounds, but
they don't have field stretchers on that team or outside receivers. He's something they don't have
receivers on that team. Like
they have like 14 slots.
Yes, they have all just very meh receivers. I honestly, I was when you posed this question, I was like, all right, we're going deep into it. I was gonna go with my guy in the 17th round. I didn't know we were going like
go ahead.
Away.
Nope, go ahead. Talk about him.
I like the Cowboys tight end.
You're a Cowboys fan, aren't you?
No.
Are you?
I mean, yes, I definitely am.
Got the big star.
I'm wearing a Cowboys hat. Like
I can't see the
scarf hanging up in the background.
The screen's real small right now, man.
Cowboys banner somewhere over there. Like
the screen's real small right now. My eyes are leave me be.
I mean that is a Keenan Allen jersey signed, but that's more on display because I won it. But to me, it's go with Luke Schoonmaker. He has the pathway right now to walk in and be the number 1 tight end on this team. Yes, they drafted Jake Ferguson, I think, the 4th round last year. They have Peyton Hendershot, who played okay when he got on the field. But the Cowboys are going to be a team that they work the tight end into their playbook. It is just something that the Cowboys have done historically, time after time. Dalton Schultz, if memory serves, he was the tight end 3 last year, depending on scoring systems. 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there. Like he was way up there. I think it was 3. Like he as in Luke Schoonmaker could walk in to a very prominent role, and you're paying next to nothing to add him to your roster. Whereas, I like guys like Rashee Rice and Jaden Reed and Josh Downs and Marvin Mims, but they're going 6 rounds earlier.
Yep.
And maybe less productive than that 17th round tight end. And yes, we all know the rookie tight end phobia, but there's plenty of you're drafting a small slot receiver in the 10th and 11th rounds. Like you're kind of aiming for outliers anyways, just because they're the new batch that's coming in. I'd much rather I'm much more of the guy where I'm like, give me the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, year guys. Give me a guy that's been in the league that may have a little bit more upside. Give me a little bit more floor. It's certain times there versus the just wild card of a rookie. Even though it is Dynasty, I know age over everything. That is the Dynasty motto: age over everything. No matter what they did in the past, how old are they? You kind of, to me, you put that back a little bit. I'd rather take my shots, my lottery tickets on rookies later on. And, a guy like, Schoonmaker at, the Cowboys tight end, that could end up being a 100 target position right there.
Musgraves in 15, same thing for me.
Yeah, I just saw that one too. The only thing,
clear path.
It's weird. Green Bay just never throws to the tight ends though.
They also have not a rookie, but like he's basically a rookie for them.
A rookie.
And Jordan Love, a young quarterback who has no real connection with these guys.
Yeah. And maybe the rookie adage holds true. The rookie quarterback favors tight ends, checkdowns, running backs, things like that. Or maybe the running quarterback type of narrative holds true. And instead of dumping it off to the tight end or something like that, he'd rather pump and try and run for 5 yards. It's going to be interesting to find out what it is. But again, I agree. Musgrave at 15, I'm in for that lotto pick, especially because it's a tight end premium league too.
And it's round 15.
And most importantly, it's round 15.
Round 15.
Yeah.
That's going to lead right into our next segment here. So I want to get to this segment. So, we got time to get to everything. I'll ask y'all guys to bring some rookies that might be, late third, guys you're getting in the 17th, 18th, 19th round of a startup, but you're getting them in your third or fourth round in your dynasty rookie drafts. Just give me a couple guys, Ryan, that you like that are kind of underneath the radar there.
I mean, I know I've talked about him before, but I just want to bring it up because we know we kind of know his role now. It's Charlie Jones for Cincinnati. He's gonna have Tyler Boyd's old role. Like that's what he kind of showed in college, what he was good at. He's gonna pop right in for Cincinnati with Boyd gone and fill right in. And he can stretch the field just a little bit better at this point in his career, Boyd's career at the end was. So I like him there, especially if Higgins goes in the future. I've been grabbing him an absolute ton. Jaden Reed's the other one I've been grabbing a ton of as well, just because I don't trust the wide receivers there outside of Watson.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. I like Jalen Reed. What about you, Seth? You got some guys you liked here that are kind of cheap flyers?
This is a pure bet on the margins type of play here, especially if you're in sleeper. And if you're playing with a bunch of people that follow just ADP in general, for some reason, and maybe it's just because he's not heavy enough to go all the way up, that's the inverse, but whatever. Go low enough. He's not heavy enough to go low enough in the rankings. Tank Dell. Mm-hmm. He's like in the middle of nowhere. And in sleeper, just recently, I remember looking at doing some research early on, right after the draft, Tank Dell was nowhere to be found. He was what was it, a third round pick in the NFL draft? That's great draft capital for a rookie wide receiver. And yes, he is very small. I boxed in high school at only 8 pounds less than him. And that was like me shedding weight in high school to get down to that. And I was at his weight. That's crazy to me. But he's walking into a Houston role where, honestly, who's there? Frog knows what's going on in Houston right now. There's so many options that could play out here. In the third, fourth round, I'm perfectly fine with taking him at the end of the third round. When you have guys like Zach Evans, Deuce Vaughn, one of my Cowboys guys. I don't mind throwing.
I love Deuce
out there.
Drafting him a lot,
fun there. But I wouldn't mind taking him over those guys. But you might not need to, depending on who else you have in your league. If they're just going by sleeper ADP, let me scroll all the way back down. His sleeper ADP is 163.6, which puts him behind Schoonmaker, who we just talked about, behind Parker Washington, Michael Wilson, Will Levis, and this is in one QB. In one QB, he's behind Will Levis. Brenton Strange, the tight end in Jacksonville, like Eric Gray, who didn't even have like a great running profile and is like the backup, if you're lucky, the backup to Saquon Barkley. Like if he gets to the RB2 role, like you have Tank Dell that he might work his way in training right into the slot wide receiver role.
I'm sure you heard the story too. His quarterback Stroud told him to draft him. You know, they to go out and get Tank Dell, and they did. So, you know, there is that. They had the chemistry already.
Yeah, and
Hutchinson's there too.
Yeah,
his teammate.
Yep,
there's the same kind of dart throw.
Yep. Good call.
And do me a favor, Jeff. Throw Johnny Mac's comment up there for all the watching fans to see as well. Johnny Mac, you could be 1,000% right. They probably absolutely are going to be returning punts and kicks there. But the question is, one, that right there earns them a roster spot.
Yeah.
Earning a roster spot is step one. If they can then do anything beyond that, if they work their way into any other type of role, then that's just that's what you're hoping for on these deep dart throws, because you could go for some UDFA running back. You could go with Snoop Connor. Fine example, right? Snoop Connor. People talk so much about Snoop Connor and the possibility. Yeah,
I was all over him.
I literally just cut him from a taxi squad.
So did I.
Now, because I was like, "Come on, Snoop, you can do it." But being a punt and kick returner, that makes them a part of the team. Yep. And if they're a part of the team, you never know what's going to happen in front of them that could lead to them earning a role on the field.
Yeah, the perfect example, it's a little bit of a
go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long-term example. But Raheem Mostert was a lifetime special teams player, and he just happened to be playing the 49ers, and they lost their first three running backs. He got put in there, and he was, he was pretty good. So, but yeah, that's absolutely, you get the roster spot. That's the first thing. If you're on the street, you can't really do much in fantasy. So I like that call. All right, so my guy that I'm going to pick here is he's probably going undrafted, even if you have 5 or 6 or 7 rookie rounds here. He was actually a receiver at 6'5", 235 pounds. He ran a 4.5 40. But when he was drafted, if you heard what they said, they actually drafted him as a tight end, and he goes to a team with these guys ahead of him: Durham Smythe, Eric, I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, Saubert, Tyler Croft, and of course the rookie I'm talking about is Elijah Higgins. Elijah Higgins is playing tight end for the Dolphins. The Dolphins have literally no tight ends, that are worth even mentioning. But as a receiver coming out of college, like I said, he's 6'5", 235. He ran a 4.5 40, which for a tight end is really good. I don't know a whole lot about him other than the fact that when he first came into Sleeper, he was a tight end, or listed as a receiver. They changed him over to tight end. He's worth taking probably a waiver wire ad on him. I've added him in a few of my leagues. He's probably not even worth drafting, but there is a chance there that he earns a spot there with the Miami Dolphins with that tight end room that they have is pretty terrible. And as I said, 4.5 40 for a tight end is pretty good. So I'll take that chance.
He sounds like a great, if you traded a bunch of draft picks, Ryan, if you traded a bunch of draft picks this draft, Ryan told us a funny story about trading draft picks right before we came on. If you're one of those teams like Ryan, and you got spots to fill in your taxi squad, he sounds like a prime candidate for. Absolutely. Let me scoop them off on waivers, drop them into the. Are you writing that note down right now, Ryan? I see you looking away. You're right now like.
Nah, I'm cool with that team, but yeah, it's brilliant for that. I'm going golfing Saturday, so I just said instead of worrying about my draft, I trade away all my rookie picks.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, that wraps up our under the radar rookies. Let's go ahead and get to our last segment of the night.
Get ready for goingfor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Steph, last time you were on, you cheated a little bit and took a guy that wasn't quite retired, and you've already kind of alluded to the fact that this guy might not quite be retired either. But we're going to go ahead and try to guess here, Ryan. So go ahead and give us your hint, Steph.
I'm just going to say Ryan cheated first today by picking an entire series.
Fair enough.
This is a single movie. Just want to throw that out there. Ryan,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Bill Belichick way.
Okay. This is a running back that everyone spent their fab on a couple years ago.
James Robinson.
No.
Tyson Williams.
Wow, you're good. Good job.
Is it really?
It is. It's Tyson Williams.
I just talked about him just recently. I wrote him up in an article, not him, but talking about somebody else. And I just happened to mention Tyson Williams, and that just what popped into my head. Wow, that was
I think that's the fastest one so far.
Definitely the fastest.
Wow,
that was great. See, shit. Now I feel like I may have messed up because I'm like, wait, did I read Jeff's article and that's why I thought about this? But it's like one of those things where
Jeff, are you cheating?
No,
are you cheating so you can catch up to me?
No, it's funny because I literally was talking about this because I was one of the ones. I was in the Scott Fish Bowl and I thought I was brilliant. I took J.K. Dobbins and I backed him up with Gus Edwards and then lost both of them on the same day. So I had to drop all of my fab on Tyson Williams. And I brought this story up and I forget what, and I wrote it into an article, and that just happened to be fresh on my mind and it just popped up when you said it. I was like, oh, that's who I spent all my fab on. So that'll be who I guess here.
And the moral of the story of Tyson Williams is don't spend all your fab on I think it was undrafted, right? I'm going an undrafted free agent running back. Like remember the fact
who I said is the complete opposite. With James Robinson being that 6th round running back who same thing, Scott Fish Bowl, injuries happened early, blew my fab on him. That worked out.
Yep.
That got me in the semis.
James Robinson was a UDFA too, though.
I thought he was a 6th rounder.
He was. And so one of the things I wanted, I'm thinking about doing soon too, is something called survivor bias, where people remember things based on the people that actually like survive, right? So in this case, it's the UDFAs you remember that are the ones that made fantasy like relevant. Like you remember Tyson Williams, you remember James Robinson, you don't remember the other. And this is a fact from way back. There's 98% of UDFA running backs don't hit.
Yeah. They never hit.
Like they don't hit. So like people being like, no, what about Austin Eckler? Yes, you one of the guys in the 2%. Good job. Like that. That's called survivor bias. Like that's exactly what that is. And so
it's just like the Tom Brady narrative. Well, they got Tom Brady in the 6th, and you can get a quarterback. And he's like the one.
And Brock Purdy just proves that it can happen.
Yeah,
exactly. Look at Uncle Rico slinging pork chops at his nephew. Like.
For that, you get every Malik Willis in the 3rd who's borderline getting cut right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, we ran a little bit long, but I think we did a good job covering everything. Let's go around the room here really quick. Give us your Twitter handle, plug anything you got going on. We'll go to you first, Seth.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining in. Follow me on Twitter at FF the At Home Dad. Follow all my stuff. I've done a whole lot of stuff for years, but follow all of it moving forward at fffaceoff.com. I hope to see you all there. We got a new podcast coming out soon. Jeff, Ryan, thank you so much for being such gracious hosts. I hope to have you guys return the favor, let you interrupt me and break all my rules of the show sheet the same way I did to you guys twice now. Hope to have you guys in the near future as well. So really appreciate it, brothers. Thank you.
Good stuff. Ryan, what you got going on?
Find me Twitter, Fox534. Find me here every Wednesday. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board show on Wednesdays too. Just updated all Dynasty rankings. Feel free to talk shit on them. I have 2 running backs in mind that I have a feeling people are really, really, really going to disagree with. So please take a look and let me know how much you hate them, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Good stuff.
Ryan, I already hate them. I don't know who they are or where they
I
are.
love it.
I already hate them.
Yeah, Seth, thanks for coming on once again, man. I really appreciate it. Like you said, you were the second one this year, the first repeat guest that we had doing the nonsense draft, and I appreciate you coming on. And yeah, definitely check out your stuff over there, especially that spreadsheet you were talking about before the show. I'm curious to see how that goes. But yeah, great stuff, man. As far as what's going on with us over at Going for Two, of course, we got shows every single night of the week. We got some great stuff on the horizon. I'm actually in the middle of building an entire website dedicated to Going for Two Live. It is actually goingfor2.live. So it'll be a place where you can see all the bios on all the hosts. You can see all of our show stuff, everything going on with Going for Two Live. So look for that in the near future. Other than that, that's all I got. So for Seth, for Ryan, I am Jeff, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.